here with Eyes on the Game, and I'm here in Houston, Texas, being joined by the one and only Mr. Coach Bob Perez. Now, a bit of change in scenery. Last time we did speak over the phone, and typically I do see you and Derrick down in Las Vegas. Now we're here in Texas. But in your awesome office, a lot of cool stuff going on here. First off, how's it going?
Everything's going great. Kind of ending Derrick's camp at this point, or coming to an end. He's looking great, and we're just really excited to get to Wichita and have him fight JDS.
Yes, and before I get to talk to you about his camp and fighting JDS, I have to say, though, looking around in your office, I did see a replica Houston Astros ring, and I do know you're a big Astros fan from last time that we spoke, so what's going on about that?
I grew up playing baseball, played to like a high school level, tried playing at the collegiate level, didn't happen, but Astros fan since I was about 5. And one of my students gave me the replica ring, David Navarro. He gave that to me for a Christmas present. And now that we're talking about that, Alex Bregman, I heard through the grapevine you wanted to get some sessions in with me. You're a big MMA fan. You need to hit me up, man. I know the season's starting, but as soon as you're done, you need to hit me up.
Where can he hit you up?
Just hit me up on my Instagram at Kru Bob Perez.
And you'll kind of take it easier on him, right? Because I saw you training Derrick today.
Dude, no. I think he's like a diehard fan. Yeah. And honestly, I think if his baseball wasn't going on, he just looks like he'd be a fighter. So I'm going to go hard on him. I'm going to go hard on him. He just looks like a gamer. He looks like a gamer, absolutely.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does reach out. But like I said, about the JDS fight and Derrick, that is coming up March 9th in Wichita, Kansas. How did this fight come about?
So Derrick obviously fought DC November. Holidays, he needed time off, and they made other offers for him. Let's see, Stipe came up. I think it was in January. Kane came up, but he just needed a little more time to get his head right and relax. He fought, 4 times in 8 months, so in 2018. So he just needed time to decompress and be with his family. And then, we just got a call. And that's how it usually happens, and we never say no to a fighter. It's never an opponent that we turn down. It's more timing than anything. So, I have a lot of respect for JDS, former champ. I'm like, man, let's do it. Derrick will fight him for sure.
Now, I did ask Derrick what he thought about JDS and in terms of where he would rank, kind of, because he's fought tough guys, like Francis, to Alex, to Roy Nelson, and of course DC. And Derrick told me that he thinks he's one of the weakest. What do you think?
It's weird. Me as a coach, my job is to analyze and look at strengths and weaknesses. And I think he was champion for a reason. He's a stud. He's got great boxing. He's battle tested and he's proven. But with Derrick, and I think I've told you this in the past, like Derrick never worries about an opponent. And it's not that he's being disrespectful or anything. He just really believes in himself. So, Derrick beats Derrick, So, I'm kind of surprised he said that, but I'm not surprised that he said that at the same time. And it's not disrespect that he means. It's just like, I really think he believes in himself. And, honestly, it's like I said, it's Derrick, fighting Derrick. It's not Derrick fighting JDS or Francis or DC or, he's his biggest opponent, I think.
But do you think that JDS still poses the same threats as he did when he was champion?
I honestly, and it's no disrespect intended, I personally think that this is Derrick's time. And, JDS is obviously still super dangerous, but we all age and, stuff happens. You kind of lose a step. I've studied his last few performances or last few fights. And, when you look back when he fought Stipe the first time or Kane, and he's still a beast, don't get me wrong, but I definitely think he's not what he was, but once again, still extremely dangerous.
What do you think about him stopping Ty?
I thought Ty was definitely getting the better of that fight, and Junior caught him with a right hand, dropped him, and then it went from there. I think, Ty's a stud, but I think because of maybe his lack of prowess on the ground, Junior was able to get full mount and pound him out. But I think up until that point, Ty was definitely winning that fight.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And also you mentioned that Junior does have good stand-up. Obviously, we've all seen Derrick knock a lot of people out. Right. But where do you think they match up, boxing-wise?
Like most people that Derrick fights, they're going to have probably a little more finesse or technique when they strike. Junior has very clean boxing, and I think I know what he's looking to catch Derrick with. I won't say it obviously, but we've been focusing on that in this camp. But power wise, I mean, to me, there's no comparison. I mean, these are both big monsters, and one shot can do it to anybody. To me, no matter how good or how bad a fighter is, especially a heavyweight, it's a coin toss. Just kind of hold my breath, But I think, power-wise, Derrick touches him one time, and Junior's going to be in trouble.
And when I did speak to Derrick earlier, he said that one big thing you guys worked on in this camp, and I'm not sure if you guys do it like every camp, a lot of it mental preparation and focusing on that. And we kind of did see that, in the Volkov fight, and for him to, come back in the third round, 11 seconds left. So can you kind of elaborate on, the mental training? Well,
I mean, honestly, we kind of always do it. I believe in Derrick 100%. Derrick definitely, believes in Derrick 100%, and he's never out of a fight. But, I'm getting kind of tired of waiting, to the end of the fight for him to knock somebody out. So I really like my fighters to have a positive mental attitude in regards to envisioning how they're going to win, picturing how they're going to win, picturing their hand getting raised. To me, that does translate, you can make that a reality. So I'm just trying to keep him positive, focus on all of his good attributes, Derrick's attributes, and really capitalizing on those and not really worrying about anything other than the good stuff he's going to do in the fight.
Yes, absolutely. And also, he is coming off the DC fight. I do know that was on 2 or 3 week notice. Very short turnaround after the Volkov fight. But what do you think he took away from that fight that he could kind of, bring into this one?
Well, I think, for me as a coach, it was a win-win. You fight somebody like DC, one of the greatest ever, on a few weeks' notice, Madison Square Garden, heavyweight UFC title. You can't lose, But I think what Derrick realized, even though he obviously got caught, I think he realized, man, I can be in there with the best, and I made a mistake, but other than that, I think he learned, dude, I belong at the highest level of the game, because he came out unscathed. Like I said, he got caught, but I think he realized, what, this is where I should be. He can say I don't want the belt all he wants or whatever, but that's where he belongs, and I hope that's the takeaway that came away from that.
Yeah, and definitely, if he does get a win over JDS, definitely back in that title picture. But as a coach, what was that moment like for you?
Every fight, honestly, for Derrick leading up to the DC fight, backstage, I'm pretty much dry heaving, almost vomiting, because I get so worked up and I'm so nervous for my friend and my fighter. I mean, people can die in there, and I think people forget about that. And so it's not the crowd or anything like that, but it's really the fighter's health on both parts. I don't want, anybody maimed or hurt. So the fighter's health, and then also what's at stake. So the Volkov fight, I knew that, if we won that one, we were probably going to get the shot. So I was a nervous wreck. So all that being said, when we got to Madison Square Garden, dude, I wasn't nervous at all. At all. It was kind of as cliche as it sounds, I'm just happy to be here. I was so excited. It was already a win in my book. So I wanted to enjoy that experience, because we may never get that again. So I just tried to soak it all in.
Would you say that was one of the best moments in your coaching career?
That is absolutely the best moment in my coaching career. Like I said, win or lose is irrelevant to me. Of course, we want to win, but it's just, I mean, he's a part of history, and I'm a part of that with him. the team is, and you know, there aren't very many people that can say that they've, you know, had that opportunity to do that.
And like you said, at the historic Madison Square Garden.
Absolutely. You know, you're in the locker room and like, man, Elvis could have like changed in here, the Beatles, the Stones, you know, Ali, you know, so you feel the old ghosts in there. You feel the history in there. And I mean, we've obviously fought in these amazing new, like T-Mobile, like these beautiful arenas, and in Madison Square Garden, it's definitely a bit antiquated, but like, I love that place, man. You feel the history.
Yeah, and the energy, no doubt. But the aftermath of that and the Volkov fight, obviously everyone knows he has a great Instagram account, kind of PG-13, almost rated R. But as far as like his post-fight speeches and stuff, like, are you aware of any of that in terms of, you know, do you go over it with him?
No, not at all. In fact, Derrick probably knows like that I shouldn't tell Bob anything, you know. If you look at me, like from the Rhonda comment to, I mean, just all the comments, like you can just kind of see me kind of put my head down because I'm not quite sure how to react. I'm kind of an old school coach that way, and just kind of fight and let's go home. But he is who he is, and I think that's why people love him. I love him because like he just says whatever he wants. My balls was hot was the greatest thing he could have ever said. And honestly, that's probably a big reason he was able to get that DC fight so quickly, because he was very hot at that moment. But yeah, after the fight, you know, he hands me the shorts and I'm like, what the F are you doing? And he's like, just hold these. And I'm like, why? And he's like, I'm going to throw them to the crowd. And I'm like, dude, nobody wants that, you know, blood on them and sweat and, you know, Derrick Lewis DNA. I'm like, nobody wants that, man. And he's like, watch. But I don't think he premeditates what he's going to say. I just know he's going to say something, you know.
But did it surprise you?
It absolutely did. You know, I was just in shock. And it's a lot of times hard to hear, you know, what he's saying in the octagon. But I heard that loud and clear. And my wife was like, afterwards, she's like, what's wrong with Derrick's balls? You know, she messaged me. I'm like, he's fine. They were hot. But yeah, he just, it's Derrick. And, you know, as a coach, I want people to remember Derrick or really like Derrick or respect Derrick for the way he fights and finishes people and just gives it his all. And I don't, just like I said, as a coach, I don't want to see all the crazy comments in social media like overshadow his ability to fight. But at the end of the day, it's a business and it is what it is.
Kind of like a good balance of both, right?
I would like, you know, when it's all said and done, you know, Derrick's a nut. He's a crazy, funny guy, you know, but the dude could fight, you know, and that's, I want people to always look back at any of my fighters, you know, fondly, like, you know, win or lose, like that guy was game. He came to fight.
And lastly, like I mentioned, if he does beat JDS, I'm pretty sure they will be giving him a title shot, or he's right there again, currently ranked number 3. So who would you like to see him fight next after Junior?
Well, is he number 3? Because he was 2, so he got bumped.
Francis got bumped back up.
Yeah, well, so I think it, you know, if Stipe and DC rematch, I'm totally cool with that. You know, I think Stipe deserves, you know, that much. He was a great champion. But if DC were to vacate for whatever reason, I personally think it should be, if we get past Junior, it should be Derrick and Stipe that fight. You know, if he's got to fight, I mean, he'll fight whoever, you know, but just me as a coach, I'd like him to fight Stipe.
And no use in fighting Francis again, right?
I don't see the point in Stipe fighting Francis again at this point, or Derrick fighting, you know. They haven't fought each other. They've both beaten Francis. Whether it was boring or whatever the hell people want to say, it's irrelevant. We got the W. Stipe and Derrick have not fought yet. And I think fans would probably want to see that. I want to see that.
Yeah, now that you say that, I want to see it too. And like I said, so this morning we were at your gym, Main Street Boxing and Muay Thai. So for the fans and all the listeners tuning in, where can they get more information on your gym?
At Main Street Boxing and Muay Thai. And you can also look me up on Instagram at Kru Bob Perez. Message me, hit me up if you have any questions.